It was all a dream, Merle's breath like rotten fish on top of her tongue. The balled-up gray mass of it settled at the back of her throat like stale phlegm. His beady-stained tongue wriggling around on top of her tongue. His hand under her blouse, fumbling, scratching. His nails yellow and black and green, the sight of which made her feel nauseous. His bandaged hand resting on her breast, the nail digging into her skin, the dirt in his nails mixing with her own. Cool in the thick heat of the dark room, sweet, mingling with the scent of vomit dried on the floor. She had dreamt it in the night, writhing like a fish out of water, a pool of yellow sweat, unable to scream for all the phlegm in her throat, the heavy weight in her mouth, the eyes in the window. The eyes were from a long-ago dream, black, a darkness deeper than the oppressive heat of the room. A self-consuming darkness, turning inwards, two holes in the void, like the memory of the snake's fangs on Amma's dark skin. Two eyes watching her, watching themselves, two eyes like gaps in the heat. She felt like she could slip away, like vapor, like smoke, like the silver mist over the river. The river black in the night, black and shining, winking like the silt around it, silver and loose, a million glinting eyes winking in the black night. The air ripe with the sour promise of raw mangoes, teasing and winking from the branches, among them the glinting brown eyes of Munna, sitting on the branch naked, his long body shining faintly in the dark night. "Ladki," he whispered to her, "want a mango?" His words tinged with the stale scent of a beady, fishy. In the river, there were fishes as small as a dot, dark and invisible, holes in the water, moving eyes. The big fish did not swim. They stared at her, their mouths sending a bubble up to the surface of the water, which burst with a quiet pop, waiting for her answer. "Pop, pop, pop. Munia?" she asked. "Not ripe yet," Munna said and laughed, revealing a mouth with uneven teeth. With each shake of the shoulder, the teeth dropped down, raining like impatient mangoes, too ripe and restless, dropping with a pop, pop, pop. As they fell, black rats gathered them up and scuttled away, an undulating shadowy tide, whispering, a soft rustle like the leaves in the night wind, conspiring. Amma had said it was rubbish, that the AAM tree was spiritless, spirits having no cravings for the mango. It was all make-believe, just whispers, conspiring. But this changed when she saw Munna's body beside the tree, the part of him dangling down, and now he was sitting beside it, kicking it absent-mindedly once in a while, so that it swung like a forgotten toy. Munia began to sing now, bellowing in the quiet night. "Amma, mir baba ko bejo ri, ki sawanaya. Mother, please send my father across. Now the rains have come." And with her voice, the rains came down, quiet at first, trickling down her forehead, down her back, mixing with sweat into a vaporous headache. But soon, as Munia's bellowing grew louder, stretched and cracked, the rain gained strength, crashing down on the earth, dam, 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 dottum, dottum, dam. There was no song in this rain, nothing sacred, no rhythm, no melody. It was the roar of a storm, fierce and unyielding. The mango trees seemed to shudder, their branches trembling, wanting to break free, but the roots held tight, circling around their trunks, cutting off their strength, till they felt heavy, weighed down by the rain. The earth was running with water and debris, pooling and flowing down the mango grove, down the fields, down the streets, all the way to the river. She looked at Munna swinging in the rain, the rope tightening around him, calling out into the storm, "Amma, mir bia ko bejo ri." She knew that the flow of the dream, the black river, with the pop-pop fish, the fallen mangoes, and the winking stars in its waters, was rushing toward a void inside her. The emptiness that she was meant to cover with her sari and petticoat, her red bangles and black bindi, the shuanya that was a red field with Amma's essence lying among the bent-down barley, the hollow feeling inside her as she watched her running toward the mango grove in her soiled sari, the blouse torn off, running to the branch that was no longer weighed down by Munna's presence, the void that no baba, no bai, no mama could cross, a bottomless pit. What could Sawan do? The emptiness signified by the rope around Munna's neck, the shuanya Merle was trying to probe with his fingers and his curiosity. The void that was a dream, the emptiness that was this dream that was an absence, flowing, rushing down into the night to where the black river came to a halt at the dried puddle, out of which she emerged back into the dark room. Her body felt slimy, decayed, a mix of half-digested rice, sweat, and something unpleasant. Merle's hands pressed tight around her neck, and her neck felt heavy. Merle bent down and pressed his mouth to her skin, leaving marks for others to see. Her breath started to slip away, and she could hear the thudding of her heart in her ear. But she repeated to the rhythm of her pulse, "It is all a dream, a dream, a dream." It was all a dream, but it wasn't hers alone. It also belonged to Amma. It was a dream passed down to her, the only inheritance Amma could give. The dream belonged to Munna too. It was the dream that Amma spun out in the thick heat of the dark room, spinning and spinning, the thread of her words coated with her saliva, the strings of her whispers weaving through the night, murmuring into the dark, spinning, her words layered, a chant, a plea, calling out into the night, Munna, Munna, Munnia, Munia. It was the dream that Amma spun as the man they never called Baba filled the room with his presence, humid with his appetite, heavy with his breath, filling it with the scent of his bidi that made Munia uneasy, filling it with a weight that lingered in their stomachs for days, shadows, a shame that haunted them and enveloped them, entering their bodies, filling them with emptiness. Outside the window, Munia and she counted the teeth they had found that week, buried in the silt around the river, hidden in the sand like shells, hollow and forgotten. Sometimes they found small creatures inside them, pink or white or green. They compared their finds, Munia insisting hers were sharper, while she rubbed hers against her thumb, sure of their superiority. Sometimes, she kept them in her mouth, the taste of dirt, metallic and sour, sucking them like the stone of a jamin. Now, Merle's teeth shifted around in her mouth, sliding down her tongue, tasting of anger, scuttling down her body, probing, searching for something deeper. A group of three slipped down and pressed against her skin. And all she could think of was the teeth by the river and the necklace of teeth Munia had made for Amma. The same necklace Amma would eat, one tooth at a time, her self-prescribed remedy. Outside the window, Munia and she watched, with a heavy feeling in the pit of their stomachs, as Merle laid claim to her body. Outside the window, Munia and she became two eyes, superimposed, simultaneous, one, a palimpsest of dreams and bodies and voids and eyes, melted into one. He and her, she and him, her and her, peering in at her mother and herself, dreaming, drifting out of the window through the holes their eyes burned through the darkness. The dream of I Amma, Munia, breathing in the dark. Our bellies swell out in a rhythm. Down, up, down. Munia is not Munna now. She won't be Munna again till morning. When morning comes, she will have to leave herself beside me, wrapped up neatly on the pillow, leave this dream that Amma has spun for us and cross the shore. But it is still night now. Amma is telling us the story of a king who lost his kingdom, all of whose children died at his own hand by some cruel twist of fate, all of whose wives died of grief, all of whose citizens perished from a plague, and all of whose army was defeated in war. Now, what could such a man do in this world? He wandered around the ghost of his kingdom, dreaming. Munia and I do not believe this story. We contend that such a man should die, would die. And can't death be a dream? Amma asks. I wake up. Merle is shaking, he is done. He turns around and goes off to sleep. I look out of the window. The sun has started to rise. I repeat to myself, it is all a dream, a dream.